the principal at Perry Elementary School. It is my pleasure to welcome the guests of the and that you can wave to them and they can see you. But before we do that, if you would everyone please just check your cell phones and make sure they're silenced. This is a wonderful program and we want to make sure everybody gets a chance to enjoy it in its fullest capacity. All right, one of the things we like to do first, these guys are the reason that you are here. And so we are going to start. We would like to have Mrs. Orr's class. If you are in Mrs. Orr's class, just stand where you are. And if you are a family member or guest of somebody in Mrs. Orr's class, kids, it's going to be a little hard for you to see because the lights are pretty bright in your eyes. But you can all pick out families, you can find exactly where they are. Just, you guys wait, you'll get your turn. You'll get your turn. Thank you, Mrs. Orr's class. If you would please have a seat. Next, if you are in Mrs. Morvelius's class, please stand up. Mrs. Morvelius class families. Thank you, Mrs. Morvelius's class. Go ahead and have a seat, please. Next, if you are in Miss Sivak's class, please stand up. Get out of the way here. Thank you very much, Miss Sivak's class. You can have a seat. If you are in Mrs. Dolatowski's class, please stand up. All right, thank you, Mrs. Dolatowski's class. Please have a seat. And last but certainly not least, if you are in Mrs. Sales' class, please stand up. All right, thank you so much, Mrs. Sales' class. You can go ahead and have a seat, Mrs. Sales' class. We thank you all so much for being here today. And at this point, I am going to turn the program over to our staff and our kindergartners, and we hope that you enjoy. If you didn't get a chance to get a program, by the way, at the end you can pick them up. They are inside both doors and they're yellow.
One day in class, he wasn't taking out his books, and he found his hat where the teacher's name on them. Hey Duncan, it's me, Red Crayon. We need to talk. You make me work like harder than the other crayons. I am wrong. I wear myself out, coloring fire engines, apples, strawberries, and everything else that's red. I even work on holidays. I color all the Santas at Christmas and all the hearts on Valentine's Day. I need a blast. Your overall Red Crayon. Train, going down the track. The red caboose behind the train. Theo Duncan. Oh, I listen. I love that I'm your favorite crayon for grapes, dragons, and wizard hats. But it makes me crazy that so much of my gorgeous color goes outside the lines. If you don't start coloring inside the lines soon, I'm going to completely lose it. You're very neat from Pebble Crayon. You're killing me. I know you love elements and I know that elephants are great. That's a lot of space covering all by myself. Don't even get me started on your rhinos, your hippos, and your humpback whales. You know how tired I am after hearing all those big things? Such big animals. Baby penguins are great, you know, so are very tiny rocks and pebbles. How about one of those ones would like to give me a break? Your really tall friend, Gray Crayon. Dear Duncan, you color with me, but why? Most of the time, I'm the same color as the page you're using me on. White! If I didn't have a black outline, you wouldn't even know I was there. I'm not even in the rainbow. I'm only used to colored snow, or to fill an empty space between other things. And it leaves me feeling, well, empty. We need to talk. Your empty friend, white crayon. Hi, Duncan. I would like to be used to draw the outline of things. Things that are colored in by other colors.
It isn't fair when you use me to draw a nice beach ball and then fill in the bowl with all the other crayons.
How about a black beach ball sometime? Is that too much to ask? Your friend, Black Crayon. As Black Crayon, I am writing for two reasons. wants to say that I like my workload of cacti, trees, dinosaurs, and frogs. I have no problem in which to congratulate you on a very successful coloring screen career so far. The second reason I write is for my friends, Yellow Crayon and Orange Crayon, who are no longer speaking to each other. Both crayons feel they should be the color of the sun. Please settle this soon, because they're driving the rest of us crazy. Your happy friend, Green Crayon. I need you to tell him that I am the color of the sun. I would tell him, but we are no longer speaking. I can prove I'm the color of the sun, too. Last Tuesday, you used me to color in the sun on your Happy Farm coloring book. In case you've forgotten, it's on page 7. You can't miss me. I'm shining down brilliantly on a field of yellow corn. Yellow pollen, the true color of the sun, yellow crayon. Dear Duncan, I see yellow crayon already talked to you, the big liner. Anyway, can you please tell Mr. Tattletale that he is not the color of the sun? I would, but we're no longer speaking. We both know I am clearly the color of the sun, because on Thursday you used me to color the sun on both the Monkey Island and Meet the Zookeeper pages and your day at the zoo coloring book. Orange and glad I'm here. Ha! Your pal in the real color of the sun, Orange Crayon.
These little children are
Dear Duncan, it has been great being your favorite color this past year and the year before that. I have really enjoyed this oceans, rivers, and lakes, raindrops, rain clouds, and clear skies.
But the bad news is that I am so short and stubby.
I can't even see over the lining of the crayon box anymore. I need a break. You're very stubby for a blue crayon. happy. That gave him an idea. When Duncan showed his teacher the new picture, she gave him an A for coloring and an A+ for creativity. The end.
have a couple of instructions so that we can get our kindergartners from here safely. First of all, I believe we have a gift here. We would like to thank Mrs. McMurtry. If we could give Mrs. McMurtry a big round of applause. We would also like to thank our kindergarten teachers. If we could give our kindergarten teachers a big round of applause as well. our kindergartners another big round of applause. All right. Because we have our kindergartners here and we want to make sure that we get all of our kindergartners back to the cafeteria before the adults start moving, what we are going to do is have our teachers take the kindergartners down. They are going to come out both sides, though, so we need to clear this path out. If we'd have everybody sit, we're going to ask all parents to stay seated, and once we have them in the cafeteria, you'll be able to go pick them up. So please stay seated. We need everybody to get out of the aisles for right now so we can get our kindergartners down to the cafeteria.